Those are the two best guard passes for beginners in Jiu Jitsu. I'm Biernacki, this is Rory Van Vliet. We run bjjconcepts.net, and we're gonna go over some details for you and some conceptual stuff that will hopefully help you understand how to pass the guard if you're just getting into like your Jiu Jitsu journey. So you notice I did one pass standing and one pass kneeling. If we're dealing with an opponent who's on their back and we're in a standing position, the best opportunity that we have to pass the guard is to not fully enter into a guard of our opponent's choosing where they'll be able to affect our alignment. If you haven't seen any of our material before, please just Google base posture structure Rob Biernacki. You'll get a bunch of videos explaining this. But the idea is that if I don't have some ability to break my opponent's alignment, and I want to look at my partner as basically a box with 4 sticks poking out of it and a computer on top. Those 4 sticks are his arms and legs, and I want to be able to recognize the difference between a frame and a lever. When I'm dealing with someone's guard, I'm running into a series of frames, and the more powerful those frames are as far as like coiling up and pushing me away, the more effective my partner's guard is. The more extended those frames are and the less connected they become, the more they stop becoming frames or stop being frames, and they become levers that allow me to transmit more force into my opponent. So what I don't want to do is get all the way into my partner's guard. I want to maintain the distance, and the farthest range that I can make contact will be to grab at the soles of the feet or at the ankles. Both of these are good, and rather than attempt to immediately go into the pass that I want, which is the leg drag, I'm going to start to circle to one side. So if I circle to my left, my partner will start to follow me. This is something that you're going to learn as you start to get better and better at Jiu Jitsu, is that if I start to take an angle, you need to follow me with your hips and with your legs so you can keep your frames pointed at me, maintaining your defensive alignment. So as I circle to my left, my partner follows me. I'm going to take advantage of that moment, and I'm going to drag both the legs to one side. I'm gripping with my hands, the web of my hand, over the point of my partner's shin and clasping like so. I don't want to grip sideways because my thumb is not strong enough to contain the energy of my partner's legs moving about. Whereas if I just create the aforementioned frames, I use the bones of my arm to control my partner's legs. As I circle, I now pull, and I'm going to step my left foot in step deep into my partner's knee, allowing me to control this bottom lever to his hip. And as I drop this knee down, pinning it to the ground, he's not able to bring his hips to face me. I can now replace this top arm, which is checking this, still maintaining that kind of frame-based control. I'm going to replace it with my elbow in front of my partner's hips. In the gi, we can grip the collar. In no gi, we can simply grip the hip. Let's rotate. And now I'm extending my leg out this way, the edge of my foot behind my partner's calf, accessing this lever for rotational control, denying my partner the ability to base and turn back to face me. If I were to not do this, my partner would be able to hip escape and face me with his guard. I'm maintaining this control, and my other foot is creating a 45-degree angle, pushing against my partner's hips. I don't want my foot posted like this because my base is compromised. I can be knocked over. I always want the angle of my post directed to oppose the direction of force that my partner is going to try to make. We call it a force vector. Well, not just us. Physics calls it a force vector. So we want to oppose that this way. From here, there will be a battle that you're going to have with this frame. This is not the time for this topic because as a beginner, you're pretty much just going to get right by and pass the guard into side control. If you want to have like a really fully detailed examination of the leg drag, please check out bjjconcepts.net. It's got all the resources you need to understand Jiu Jitsu conceptually and improve that way. If you're not passing standing, we end up on our knees, for instance. It's going to be in our interest to force the half guard. If my partner wants to play butterfly guard, I will circle my knee inside of my partner's legs. I'll be hand fighting, try to gain control of their posture. While this occurs, I'll slip my knee inside. My right arm will pummel by creating a little bit of an angle, will pummel into my partner's armpit, driving my shoulder under his chin. I'm now going to affect his posture by driving off the balls of my feet. I need live toes to generate force. If I try to drive forward right now, I won't be effective. But if I drive forward from here, I'll be able to bypass this knee by framing it with my hand and bringing my thigh in front of it. I've now got control of the top left corner of my partner's torso via the underhook and my shoulder pressure. And I've got control of the bottom right corner of my partner's torso via the sprawl that I'm doing with my hip against his leg. So I control his rotation. I will gain control of this arm just by gripping the triceps in the gi. You can grab the gi material. This opens up the space that I want to occupy. My top foot is gonna staple his leg to the mat. So I'm circling my shin, kicking it towards my butt and stapling his leg. I'm driving pressure with my shoulder into his chin. I don't want my shoulder to pass the line of his shoulders. I want to be driving my pressure into his jaw. I'll lift my hip up and extract my knee and then swim my foot out. From here, my partner will probably elect to trap my ankle. I will drive my shin down, extending his leg, and I'll use my leg to kick off. It doesn't necessarily matter too much which leg you choose to kick off. Sometimes this will make more sense, sometimes this will make more sense. What's crucial for extracting my right leg is that I point my toes rather than making any kind of hooking mechanism which will stop me from being able to slide through. So I'll be pushing, my weight stays on this side. Let's rotate towards the camera. If I bring my weight to this side, my center of gravity is now under my partner's control. One of the most important concepts in Jiu-Jitsu is the concept of momentum and center of gravity. If my center of gravity and my momentum are under my control, I'm good. If I relinquish that control and give it to my partner, I'm not good. The way I can do that is by crossing the center line. If I cross the center line, my center of gravity is now under his control. It benefits him. I keep my center of gravity on this side of the center line. I can't be thrown to the other side. I sink my hips, keep my butt down, push the leg off, and I walk my hips into my partner's hips so that he cannot create space to regain the half guard. Bump me, nothing really happens. If my hips are up here and he bumps me, he's gonna be able to get his leg back in and then I'll have to start the process all over again. So once again, quickly, where I'm on my knees. If my partner wants to play butterfly guard, I pummel inside with my arm and my leg. I drive, posting the knee, beating it, sprawl heavy here while driving my shoulder into his jaw and his armpit. I staple the leg. I extract my knee, drive my shin down, push the leg off, walk my hips in to turn my partner's hips away. When your partner's hips are folded away from you, they cannot generate force meaningfully in the direction that you're, to the side that you're on. If he's pointed this way, he's not going to be able to recover. I'm able to solidify the side control and attack from there. So we've given you one option for passing standing against an opponent who's utilizing an open guard, and we've given you another option for passing from the knees against somebody who wants to play butterfly guard or half guard. Passing a closed guard is a more complicated thing, so we'll kind of cover that on another occasion. Hopefully that gives you some insight into how to pass the guard as a beginner and some of the concepts that are involved, which again, if you want to investigate further, bjjconcepts.net.